Where do the Mavericks fit in the hierarchy of the NBA this upcoming season? Plus, we'll dial up the Stein line with our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. All coming up next on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks beat writer Tim Cato. We, of course, are DLLS Mavs, your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single day, especially at the beginning of August. That's where we are now. Where do the Mavericks fit in the hierarchy of the NBA this upcoming season? Plus, we'll play a little Mavs Fact or Fiction later on in our show. Plus, we'll be joined by our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, to discuss everything happening across the association. Appreciate you joining us here on DLLS Sports. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe while you are here. And plus, we want you to become a diehard member right now with our best offer of the year, our $36 training camp intro offer right now happening. Of course, the Cowboys in training camp in Oxnard, California. We want you to become part of our DLLS Sports family. Clicking that QR code that you see on the screen, or if you're listening, go to alldlls.com, click that diehard tab, and become a diehard member for just $36 a year in our training camp intro offer on this fantastic Friday. Tim Cato, what's going on?
Not much. How's your August going?
So far, so good. We're hanging out here on the show. Bobby's still on vacation. Hope he's having a good time in Philadelphia. We know he had some trouble yesterday because, storms and stuff are happening out on the East Coast. But hopefully our guy is safe and made it and is going to have a good time on vacation. So far, so good. Can't believe we're in the last third of the year already for 2025.
Third? Oh, we're in the last. Wait, is that how it works?
You can either do it by quarters or thirds.
Well, no, wouldn't September be the last third? Yes.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
This is the 8th month of the year.
Yeah. 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the final third.
Oh, that's better math. That's better math. You're right.
Sorry.
We're close. I was like, am I tripping? Is that what's that? Am I tripping?
Just a little bit.
No,
just
just a little early.
Just a little bit.
A little early.
It's
early.
okay.
So we're still technically in the second third of the year, I guess. Tim?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
We're in the last. No, we're not in the last. We're.
You had it right. Don't worry about it.
Month.
You had it right. You had it right.
We're definitely in a year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right, Mr. Crazy. We play 4 seasons, quarters, KG. You're right. You're exactly right. So we'll get to the fourth quarter of the year. Whatever. Anyway, I'll leave it alone. Let's just leave it alone. What are the Mavericks?
We're in the final 5/12ths of the year.
That's how that works?
That's for sure.
Okay, that's how that works. That's how it works. Regardless, we're getting a little bit closer to actual basketball. Yes, this is I won't even call it dead period of the NBA, but it's a little more quiet, obviously.
It's rotting. It's a rotted period of the year. It's like we're starting to smell the body.
That's right. I mean, there are things still happening. Mikal Bridges, who got a nice contract extension from the New York Knicks. But, of course, for your Dallas Mavericks, we move a little bit closer toward NBA Media Days, which will be at the end of September. Of course, the Mavericks announcing last week that they'll be holding training camp in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, at the end of September and the beginning of October. So still a lot to get to as we move toward that. But where do the Mavericks fit in the hierarchy of the NBA? Last year, of course, the Mavericks finished with the 12th worst record in the association. And while I was out on vacation, the guys decided to make me the topic of conversation in terms of my list that I had and where the Mavericks fit as far as the top 10 in the West. And apparently it generated a lot of conversation. So I guess Tanner's going to make me defend my list today that I had as far as where the Mavericks were, as I had them in 7th, I believe, as far
you
as...
did.
Okay, there we go.
We have to...
Who spelled my name
I
wrong?
was just about to say, I have to
That's
give
on me.
I have
That's
to
on
give
me.
Tim
I don't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
Cato, as long as we've been working
I
together...
I'm looking at this and I'm like, why did I do that?
Wow. So
I just noticed that. I was like,
it looks
well,
wrong.
It's too late now.
Like I look at it and I'm like, that's obviously wrong. I don't know what I was doing.
for the folks that are listening,
Oh my
Tim
goodness.
Cato put together what looks to be a Google chart here, where we have each of our top 10 teams in the West.
Tanner, I'm sending you a fixed version.
He spelled his name correctly, but apparently he doesn't know how to spell my name correctly. As he's got Grey instead of AY.
That's shocking to me. I'm very apologetic.
That's wow, Tim. We gotta be better than that. I thought we were better than that, honestly.
Yeah, I thought we were too.
Well, as soon as Tanner gets the revised list with my correct name on it, we'll look at where we have our top 10 teams. I did have, as I mentioned, the Mavericks in 7th, with the Lakers just ahead in 6th. I guess I should just pull up my own list. I know exactly, Mr. Crazy. Feeling gray, KG. That's right, Grey.
And I always remember this because Gray with an E is the English spelling. Gray with an A is the American spelling. I don't remember this in context of your name. I just know your name's Gray with an A. I don't know how my brain backfired. Too much Celsius, I guess. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now you got too much Celsius. Is that what it is?
I guess so. Yeah. What Shahid said.
That's right.
Great minds think alike.
That's right.
We're on the same page here. So yeah, no, I also went in and did a way too early ranking of the Western Conference. Western Conference, which is as tough as it's ever been. That is what I published, inspired by you last week, and I ranked all 15 teams. I didn't go just for 10.
Oh wow!
So while we're
Looking
stalling
for
just for a second, I'll list my bottom 5 teams.
Okay.
And last is Utah. I don't think there's a lot of debate there.
Not disputing that at all. Utah is literally racing to the bottom as quickly as they can, AJ Debanza.
Next 3, Phoenix Suns, Sacramento Kings, New Orleans Pelicans. What do you think of that?
So yeah, the Pelicans
14, 13, 12. And
Okay.
I put the Pelicans 12 saying they're probably actually going to be 14th. But if they're healthy, if Zion Williamson is healthy, I stand by the fact that Zion helps you win basketball games. And so just the possibility that he could be healthy. But, I wrote a whole paragraph kind of explaining this.
The Pelicans are weird because they have a lot of players that a lot of teams like, but I don't know if those pieces actually fit together on the actual Pelicans roster as they're currently constructed.
Yeah. And it's like none of it matters. Zion's not healthy. Like him, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Kevon Looney, Jordan Poole. I kind of think Jordan Poole is maybe on the verge of a renaissance to being like a useful, okay basketball player. But we'll see.
That's a hot take. Okay.
Is it? He was good in Washington last year.
That Space Cadet, man.
He
just
won
happened
the
to be in
NBA
Washington.
Finals.
I mean, awesome.
Yeah.
And then
Did you watch him much with Washington?
Who's watching Washington Wizards basketball?
I did occasionally.
Oh yeah.
I thought he looked decent.
There'll be more of an interesting watch this year.
And then 11th, I put Portland, and I know Portland's also not in your top 10. I thought long and hard about putting them higher. I do really like Portland. 4th best defensive rating after the All-Star break, which I don't think was nothing. I think DeAndre Ayton and Anthony Simons were their 2 spaciest defensive players, along with Shaedon Sharpe. But DeAndre Ayton, Anthony Simons, shipped them both out. They replaced them with Drew Holiday and a full season of Matisse Thybulle.
Mm-hmm.
Thybulle played 15 games for the Portland last year. Would you like to guess which side of the All-Star break it was on? It was after, when they had that defensive rating. Like, he helped. He added to it. He is a very good defender. So I don't know.
I was trying to decide between Memphis and Portland if what you were describing with Portland in the second half of the year was more of a mirage or actually what they're starting to become as a team. So I went with Memphis because I feel a little bit better about what they are even without Desmond Bane than I do about Portland and this newfound defense that they've gotten there.
All right, let's see our top 10s.
All right, let's see it.
Are going to be awfully similar.
All right, so both Tim and I have the
Tom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's sweet of you.
Yeah.
Both Tom and I have.
I don't know who this is, so don't come at like it's whoever's list this is. It's not mine.
Okay, just your twin brother Tom. Got it. The Grizzlies at number 10. You have the Mavericks at number 9. I have the Spurs at number 9. You have the Spurs at number 8. I have the Warriors at 8. I have the Mavericks at 7. You have the Lakers at 7. Interesting. Okay.
So we both have the same top 4, slightly mixed up. Thunder, Nuggets, Rockets Clippers is your top 4, and I flip them around. I have the Clippers above the Rockets. We can debate that. We both have Timberwolves at 5. And then we both have the next 4 are also the same. It's Lakers, Mavericks, Warriors, Spurs for you.
Yes.
Warriors, Lakers, Spurs, Mavericks for me, and then we both have Grizzlies 10th.
So so let's touch on, I want to start with Minnesota, because for some reason, a lot of people keep jumping in my chat saying Minnesota's going to have a down year. They lost to Kill Alexander Walker. You know, they're not going to be the same team. Mike Conley's a year older. I still think that's a top 5 team in the West that may be scratching the surface of number 4. I know they get off to slow starts, and the second halves of the years, these last couple of years, with them making it to the Western Conference Finals, have really propelled them to the success that they've had. But I just have them still as a top 4 or 5 team. I have them 5 right now based off of where the West is. I personally don't see the regression, but a lot of folks think that may be coming from Minnesota this year.
I mean, I could see it easier if they didn't come on stronger to end the year. You know, like Julius Randle did take half a season before they really started clicking together.
Yeah.
And that's when it started coming together a little bit more for the Timberwolves. So, you know, this isn't a team that like had a hot stretch, and, you know, if they were good to start, or they were good for like 40 games in the middle of the season, I'd be more willing to say that, yeah, they were just like overperforming a little bit. But they ended the year really well. They got to the conference finals again, obviously, as we know. And yeah, I find it hard to see any like major regression. I think Jalen Clark certainly can fill in a little bit for what Nod did for them. Nod's a loss, and I don't think Terrence Shannon Jr. is like, you know, guaranteed to be a 1-to-1 replacement. In fact, I can guarantee he's not going to be a 1-to-1 replacement. But overall, I do think that team is interesting. If there's regression, it's that Mike Conley's only older, and we'll see about Rob Dillingham and whether he is ready to step into a role. My impression is that people still have some concerns there.
And I think Anthony Edwards is going to continue his ascent as one of the best players in the NBA. So I just don't necessarily see it. So let's put it back up real quick, Tanner, as far as the list is concerned, because this is where we get to where the Mavericks are as far as the West and the rest of the hierarchy. So I have the Mavericks at 7. You have them at 9. I want to hear more about this, because I guess I'm going on the realist, optimistic side for me. Anthony Davis and this group stays healthy. I think they can hover around 500 and just above 500 by the time Kyrie Irving gets back, and we'll see what happens from there in the last, 20 to 25 games of the regular season. But you have them down at 9, just above the Memphis Grizzlies and just behind the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah, last year the team that was the 8th seed won 48 games.
That's very true.
Like, they can hover around 500 and be better once Kyrie gets back. And when I wrote about this, I put all throughout my blurb that it's the injury stuff that scares me. It's Kyrie, it's Anthony Davis, it's just the idea that, like, I think this team is more talented than Memphis. Even not including Kyrie or I think if you include Kyrie, I have them as a better roster than San Antonio, than probably Golden State. But the injuries are concerning to me.
This is a major concern, yeah.
Yeah. And again, it's a lot of this also comes from the Western Conference. The 8th seed last year won 48 games.
Mm-hmm.
You're not guaranteed that we're going to see a repeat of that, but I think that there are more teams that are better in the West than there were last season. Always going to be a team that struggles and stuff. But if you're asking Dallas to get 48 wins, I think that is a lot to ask. And I think that the teams that are, I think there's 8 teams that can win 46, 47, 48 plus games, just like it happened last year.
Mm-hmm.
8 teams won 48 games. Dallas can be, 25 and 25. And to get to 48, what's the quick math on that? Like 25, that's about 50 games in the season.
50 games, yeah.
So let's say Kyrie is returning, around February.
You got to go
1st.
23-9 in your final 32 games to get 48. To get 48.
Can they go 23-9? 23-9, just because that's when Kyrie returns, because that is a huge task. It's a huge ask. So yeah, I have injury concerns.
Shaheed comments, the seeds 3 through 8 last year were separated by 2 games. Yeah, the West was a logjam. It was as tight as it's ever been, and a 3 or 4 game losing streak or win streak could climb you from being 3rd to dropping to 8th. Like, that's how quick crazy the Western Conference was this past year. So
David, real quick, I know we're pushing it. David asked, like, should we also consider missed games for the Clippers? David Mason. And yeah, Kawhi played 38 games last season, and he maybe only plays 41 games again. Maybe he only plays half the season. But I think their depth has a lot of built-in redundancy. I think Chris Paul is someone who can slot right in for James Harden. Having Brook Lopez there for Zubats.
Got John Collins now.
John Collins. Like, I like their depth in a redundancy sense. I still worry about, Dallas does not have a redundant, player to Kyrie Irving. And that worries me more than it worries me with, a team like the Clippers that I just think have built a really excellent roster. People can disagree, and I hear y'all, but yeah, that's where I fell on that. That's why I went like that, yeah.
Yeah, the Clippers have built a hell of a team going into this upcoming year. Let's take our first break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, let's play a little Mavs Fact or Fiction, including this one when it comes to Anthony Davis and another one when it comes to Kyrie Irving. All that and more coming up next. But first, let me talk to you about Saturday Neon. Started by two college friends, Saturday Neon makes officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs perfect for your home, office, dorm room, fan cave, or bar. You can check out their new Essentials collection featuring almost 50 of the biggest schools across the country and counting for only $75. Check out their Texas A&M, Texas Tech, Oklahoma, and Oklahoma State signs all in time for the college football season coming up just right around the corner. Unlike traditional neon signs, these LED signs won't break or shatter, and they still give you that classic uniform glow and look that you know and love. Lasting up to 100,000 hours, all you need is some 3M command strips. Put those bad boys up, and you'll be enjoying your sign for years to come. They're the perfect gift for the favorite sports fan in your life. So make sure you head over to SaturdayNeon.com and use code DLLS for 10% off your favorite sign. Again, that's SaturdayNeon.com. Use code DLLS for 10% off your favorite sign today.
Just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage, and Empire Today can help you get it. Empire Today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day of their lives. Unlike the big box stores where these guys are doing all sorts, like everything in that enormous, like labyrinth of a place. There's too much to focus on. What you want is somebody who does floors, just floors, only floors. Somebody who lives and breathes flooring. Somebody who will come to your home, come directly to your home, bring the showroom. You can pick out the right flooring and the right colors for your space. You can see how it looks with your furniture in your house. You can get precise measurements taken and have all your questions answered so there are no surprises. And with Empire Today, you get clear, upfront, and inclusive pricing. Plus, you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today because some things are just better at home. DLS listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DLLS. Yes, you heard that right, a $350 discount with code DLLS. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DLLS for full details.
Let's play a little Mavs Fact or Fiction here on our show today. Appreciate all of you hanging out with us here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports. We are just under 2,000 subscribers away from 30,000 subscribers as we turn the calendar from July to August. We are just a few weeks away from celebrating our 1-year anniversary here at DLLS Sports. So the quickest way you can support us here is to subscribe to our channel. Coming up in our next segment, we'll be joined by our National NBA insider, Marc Stein, with what he's got on his radar as the month is now in August. But Tim, let's play a little Mavs Fact or Fiction. You can play along as well if you're watching us live, and also if you're listening as well on our podcast, wherever you get your podcast for free. Let's start with this one for Anthony Davis. We talked about a lot about the health of this team going into this upcoming season and what it means for where they fit in the West and overall in the NBA as they move toward a potential playoff spot. Let's start with this one. Fact or Fiction number 1. Anthony Davis will play at least 65 games this season. Fact or Fiction, Anthony Davis will play at least 65 games this season.
I mean, really no way to say anything but fiction. This would be, if he plays 65 plus, this would be the second time in 8 seasons that he's done that. I believe one time shortened season, he was on pace to play that many or would have with a full season. So slightly modified, account for that. But that's still, even accounting for that, that's 3 of the past 8 seasons. If next season he plays 65, he's only done it 2 of the past 7. And Yeah, he's posting some real cryptic stuff on his Instagram, and everybody is very aware that this eye thing is not confusing, just very unknown.
Yeah.
We still don't know
Lack
exactly.
of clarity, if you will.
Yeah, like some blurriness maybe. You could
Touche.
Yeah, that's going on with what exactly is happening. You know, we just can't see it right. You know, like see exactly what the outlook is, and so that's low.
You do it a lot. The first one you was cool, then you went for the second one.
I agree. I don't mean to make light of it. Like, but it is concerning. It is a concerning thing. It's concerning for him as a player, as a human, as a person. It's concerning for the Mavericks. Everything may end up being fine. Everything, you know, we just don't know right now. But especially with this looming over it, especially with his track record, there's no way that you can say fact. You know, just based off everything.
The last time he played at least 75 games was, of course, when the Lakers wound up going to the Western Conference Finals and losing to the Denver Nuggets. But at the same time, we have some folks saying fact, some folks saying fiction. I've said plenty of times on this show that the health of Anthony Davis outside of Kyrie Irving is the most paramount thing to think about when it comes to the success of the Mavericks this upcoming season, because of what type of player that he is, a top 15 player when he's at his best and healthy, and a force on the defensive side for the Mavericks. And if he's going to be available, they're going to have a chance to be one of the best defenses in the league with all the bigs that they have. So with this one, though, I'm going to have to go with fiction on this one, only because, as Tim laid out, the track record doesn't necessarily fit when it comes to Anthony Davis and his ability to be available. But if he does, it's a good thing for Dallas this upcoming season. So let's keep going here with our Mavs Fact or Fiction. Statement number 2, Daniel Gafford will be with the Mavericks the entirety of the 25-26 season. Daniel Gafford will be on the Dallas Mavericks for the entirety of this upcoming season. Fact or fiction?
I could go either way with this. I don't know. My gut right now in this moment, in this exact moment right now, says fact.
Oh, okay. That's not where I thought you were going with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Why so?
I don't know. That's just what it says. I don't know. It's August 1st. Who knows? I have no clue. All I'm saying is that, like, right now, that's what my gut says to say to this one. I agree. I mean, there's a lot of reasons to trade him. There's a lot of reasons to expect that Dallas is going to make a consolidation trade. That Dallas is going to, you know, get some of the bodies and the minutes out of the, out of the front court to clear space. But we're just, excuse me.
Got choked up there.
I guess because we just talked about Anthony Davis and the uncertainty we have about how much he's going to be on the court next season, and we've talked about the uncertainty, how much Derek Lively is going to be on the court next season. We've talked about it maybe being a gap year in our eyes. We don't know about that Dallas. We've talked about how eventually Dallas is going to need to trade players to clear away and kind of restart the Cooper Flagg era. I guess, like, maybe you just need him to stick around, and maybe you need to, the CBA, the way the CBA works, like, there's absolutely going to be teams interested in him like during the trade deadline, just like there was teams interested last summer. And as we've pointed out, it's very interesting and telling that his contract was the exact contract needed to make him immediately tradable. Now, immediately is about a month and a half ago. But I don't know.
I mean,
that's they might just hold on. They might just hold on and see what happens.
I feel more of it being a fact now than I did when he initially signed the contract extension, because with the news of Anthony Davis and the detached retina, Derek Lively the second with the surgery, to get the bone spurs removed from his foot. And obviously the two big men that they have shown injury concerns throughout the course of their career. Obviously Lively only a couple of years into his career, but nonetheless, the concern is still there. So if you're wanting that insurance policy, if you will, and Daniel Gafford has played well in his time in Dallas, yeah, you're probably going to have to hang on to him, even with the idea of a possible consolidation trade to make some things happen from a roster standpoint, because you just can't afford, if they're going to go with this whole jumbo big lineup where it features Anthony Davis, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, obviously now with Cooper Flagg in the mix. PJ Washington, don't want to forget about him. They're going to have to commit to this, and the insurance that you have with Daniel Gafford, as good of a player as he is, gives me the idea that he's going to be sticking around for the duration of the year, because you just can't bank necessarily on continued consistent availability for the two best big men that this team has, in Anthony Davis and Derek Lively. So shout out to Daniel Gafford. I think he is going to remain here because they just simply can't afford to lose him, given the way that they're trying to identify themselves as a team, the way they want to have to get after it every single night. Let's finish up here with some fact or fiction before we get to our guy, Marc Stein. Some folks are already in the chat saying that, they believe that's fact as far as Daniel Gafford staying with the Mavericks this upcoming season. So let's get to this one then. We've talked about where the Mavericks fit in the West, where they fit in the NBA. No injury is looming over the NBA larger than Kyrie Irving coming back to the Dallas Mavericks at some point this upcoming season. So the statement is, fact or fiction, the Mavericks will be 500 by the time Kyrie Irving comes back. We still don't know when that timetable is going to be, but let's just say it's right after the All-Star break, and the Mavericks get the chance to have Kyrie Irving back right before the beginning of March. They'll be 500 by the time Kyrie Irving comes back to this team.
If it's that late in the season, I actually have more concerns. If it's 50 games into the season, the little 25 and 25 thing, I think Dallas can hold it together. I think it just at some point the attrition of not having Kyrie Irving, not having your star, your stud, the guy who ties it all together, the later on it goes, the less faith I have that this is going to be a 500 team. But
and the reason why I chose that time frame is that that's the more conservative timeline, if you will, when it comes to Kyrie Irving potentially coming back.
I still think I think this is a 500 team without Kyrie Irving. I just think that the longer you have to play without him, the tougher it gets. I do think this is a 500 team without Kyrie. I think they're a better than 500 team with Kyrie. But as we kind of just played out, even if you're 500, even if you're 25 and 25, that puts a lot of work on the back end where Kyrie is just getting back onto the court, probably missing, every back-to-back, and just it's tough.
Yeah, it will be tough, but at the same time, if we're going to go as fully optimistic as you can, I'll go fact here, because I think one of the things I think about from this past season, no matter what type of injury situation they were facing, this team competed every single night and played hard. There were games that they won that they definitely should not have won throughout the course. They had a 3-game winning streak going into the All-Star break where things were extremely bleak after, obviously, the trade and the change happened. So I think this team will be prepared to play every night. And part of this, too, is the wild card of Cooper Flagg and what he is going to be for the Mavericks this upcoming season, and how much of a boost can he provide in his rookie year to help stem the tide until Kyrie Irving comes back. Yes, they brought in D'Angelo Russell as well to play the point guard position until Kyrie Irving comes back. And I think this team will have a little bit of a chip on the shoulder to prove that they can hang on until Kyrie comes back. Now, what that looks like once Irving returns, as Tim mentioned, will he be playing in back-to-backs? How will he be able to incorporate himself in the intensity of a playoff push and then going into the postseason? All that remains to be seen. But I think they have a chance to be able to hold it together to be at 500 by the time he gets back, because this team plays that hard and plays that competitively every night. And I think the talent that they have with the addition now of Cooper Flagg will give them a chance to be at that point by the time Irving returns. But it's going to be difficult for them to do so because, as we mentioned, the West is as treacherous as it's going to be as ever this upcoming season in the Western Conference. Is this MW?
M. Wyatt.
M. Wyatt.
I think he took it as like fiction. They're going to be way better than 500 is.
Oh, fiction Flagg.
But I think I read your question as like, are they going to be at least 500 by the time Kyrie gets back? I understand though how he's reading it as like, no, they're going to be way better than 500 because Cooper Flagg is going to be that good.
That's a bold prediction there.
Yeah.
We've got Lone Star Rob says faction. He just put it together, both together.
Nice. Yeah.
That's a good way to answer.
I like things like the M. Wyatt comment because like it was last week we were talking about the idea of like, how much pressure? Is there not enough pressure on Cooper Flagg? Not literally. I'm exaggerating, doing a little hyperbole, but he's the number one pick. Yeah, like I don't care that he's 18. If he's a generational prospect and number one pick coming into a team that needs him to play and be good, to be a good team, it's okay to put a lot of pressure onto him.
Yeah.
Like there are, with young players, with 18-year-olds, I'm almost always going to err on the side of, but I'm the one who keeps saying he's a generational prospect. He is that good. He was picked number 1 overall. He's been talked about for years, as like this next, great American coming out of college. Sure, put pressure on him. He's earned it. He wants it. This is what he has craved. So that's the situation you want to be in, or it's like, yeah, Cooper is going to be the guy who makes sure that this team is well above 500, and is going to make sure that Dallas doesn't miss Kyrie. I am not positive whatsoever that's going to be the case. Like I have some hesitations to agree with that 100% myself, but I think it's warranted. I think it's earned. I think Cooper Flagg is one of the few people that deserves those types of expectations and, if you will, pressure.
And he's coming into a situation where he's going to have a lot of Hall of Fame talent around him, and a guy in Jason Kidd who knows a thing or two about being a top draft pick as well. Let's take our next break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. When we come back, we welcome in our national NBA insider, Marc Stein, to see what's on his radar as the calendar is officially turned to August as we continue in the NBA offseason. All of that and more coming up next year on DLLS Mavs. But we want you to check out store.allcitynetwork.com for our tremendous line of apparel and gear, including our brand new Dallas collection that we have. We have our Mavericks shirt. We have our Dallas versus all y'all shirt, the bit Nolan Ryan beating the hell out of Robert Ventura shirt. We've got all kinds of tremendous apparel and t-shirts on the Dallas collection when it comes to store.allcitynetwork.com. We also got our Flagg capture shirt as well, celebrating the number 1 overall pick, Cooper Flagg, of course, of your Dallas Mavericks. So make sure you check that out when it comes to the Dallas collection. And we've got our DLLS road trip coming up as well for our Dallas Cowboys, as our DLLS Cowboys crew will be heading to Sin City in Las Vegas, November 15th through the 18th, culminating in a Monday Night Football tilt between the Cowboys and the Raiders. So you have a chance to hang out with our DLLS Cowboys crew in Las Vegas, courtesy of True Fan Travel.
Oh, we're also... I thought I was doing the second one.
Oh, my bad. You're right. That's my bad. No, that's right. You're right. So, yeah, go to all DLLS. I forgot about that. You go to alldlls.com as well. We've got our best intro offer of the season happening right now. It's our best show ever, by the way. Our best offer happening.
It's Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday.
Bobby's not here. We're just falling apart.
Yes, that's right.
We need
wow.
Bobby.
Cat, come save us.
No,
we're Cat.
She's got her own stuff she's got to do.
Take my chair.
AllDLLS.com, our $36
going home
training
early.
camp intro offer happening right now, our best offer of the season. We want you to become part of our DLLS Sports family and get all the access to our member-only Discord, our tremendous benefits, 20% off events, and access to our guy Tim Cato stuff on AllDLLS.com. Again, $36 for our training camp intro offer. Best offer of the year happening right now. Let's welcome in the best insider in the land right now.
Mark!
Talking about the NBA.
Please save us.
You can dial up the Stein line at the Stein line. He, of course, is our guy, Marc Stein. Mark, what's going on?
Are things not going well?
Are you going to join us?
No, things are well. Oh, wow.
Are you joining us?
She's got drinks for us. That's so sweet of you, Kat.
It's
Friday.
Take one,
I mean,
if you're gonna,
oh no, he needs all the beer he can get. He needs all the beer he can get.
Hi, Kat.
Mark, good to see you on this Friday, hanging out with us here. Let's just jump into it because we have now turned the calendar officially from July to August. We are that much deeper into the NBA offseason, but there's still some things on the radar to look out for when it comes to the association. Let's start here. What is on the top of Marc Stein's radar, whether it be for the Mavericks or across the rest of the association right now?
I mean, there's still lots of stuff. I mean, I think we discussed this a little bit yesterday. You still have Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons, Malcolm Brogdon. They're all still free agents. Restricted free agents, I would like to think we're going to see resolutions in August. I'm sure Jonathan Kuminga and Cam Thomas and Quentin Grimes and Josh Giddey. I'm sure all of them are hoping that their situations are finally resolved in August. I don't know that I'm ready to promise that, though, the way as slow moving as all those things have been. But also, we will have multiple major FIBA competitions to put NBA players on our screens. AfroBasket starts on August 12th. AmeriCup starts on August 22nd. And Eurobasket, which is filled with NBA players, starts on August 27th. So there will be hoops to watch, real hoops. And friendly games are starting all over Europe here next week. So we will start to see some watchable basketball again. Lots going on in August for those of us who are aware that media day is not till September 29th. Training camp doesn't start till September 30th. And for those of us who are like, how are we going to make it to that point? There are things to watch. Does any of that grab you guys?
No, it does, because I wanted to ask you about how concerned are NBA teams at this point of the year when you start having these major international competitions with a lot of NBA stars, some of the biggest ones going to be playing, especially in Eurobasket, whether it be Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic as well. All of them are going to be playing. Lauri Markkanen for the Utah Jazz. All these players are going to be playing in Eurobasket. How do these teams approach this time of the year when these players are going to be playing in these international competitions like this?
Well, look, obviously NBA teams don't love it and, secretly and not so secretly panic and worry, but this is the reality. I mean, my position on it has always been, as a league, you can't go all over the world and bring in more than 100 international players every season and then expect them to not play for their national teams. Now, the big difference in soccer, they have international breaks built into the schedule where players leave, their domestic seasons stop and players go play in qualifying games. And obviously next summer is the Soccer World Cup. So, all of the greatest stars in that sport will be in the United States, and Canada and Mexico as 3 countries in North America get to combine as hosts. That's a first in the soccer realm. But yeah, obviously it's nerve-wracking for any team to see their key guys play for their national teams, but it means so much to so many of these players. I mean, throughout Luka's time here, you guys heard the way he talked about how much it meant to him to play for Slovenia, and there are a lot of players who feel that way about playing for their country. So, you know me, I love my international hoops, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, if Mark Cuban had any say in this, he would
Yeah,
he would shut the whole thing down.
He did say that.
right.
Yeah.
And no, he said it all. He said it all the time. He would love
He said it for decades. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's wished that, and he just celebrated a birthday yesterday, a belated happy birthday, 67th birthday yesterday to Mark Cuban. But yeah, Mark Cuban this idea actually came from, I believe this was David Stern's idea or push initially. There was talk that maybe Olympic basketball should go to 23 and under because FIBA prefers that the focus is on its World Cup. In soccer, the World Cup is much, much, much bigger than the Olympics. In basketball, it's the reverse. I think in a lot of non-US countries, the Basketball World Cup means a ton, but to American NBA players, the Olympics has been far, far, far more important. So one idea that was hatched to try to combat that was let's make Olympics 23 and under. And Cuban's been a loud proponent of that. And Cuban takes it a step further. He wants to see the NBA run the World Cup itself as part of the NBA's business. I don't think that's
Uh-oh.
Oh, man.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
He said the words Adam Silver and was like, actually, not happening. Get out of here.
A call was made.
A call was definitely made.
Unbelievable. We are being silenced.
Or at least Stein is anyway.
Yeah.
For the moment, we'll get him back on the line here just a moment here on the show. But what are your thoughts on this? Obviously, with Eurobasket coming up and the idea of, hey, these NBA teams, slightly concerned, when these guys get ready to play in these tournaments.
Yeah. We should also ban pro-ams, pickup runs, practice. I don't know why players practice. They might get hurt. Any street ball in Rucker Park should be dismantled, brick by brick. That does not really apply. I don't think there's brick. It's just, I get it. It's obviously a slightly higher level of competition. For some players, it's a beating. It can wear on them. But like Klay Thompson and D'Angelo Russell are working out together. Like, players are gonna be on basketball courts. I get that it's a slight injury risk, but if the beauty of sports is that players play and they play. They feel strongly about basketball. If they feel strongly about their countries, to go suit up and basically work unpaid hours. I don't think literally. I know, I'm pretty sure you're paid for national team duty. I know in soccer you are, but still, if I don't want to get rid of the essence of sports and the fact that these guys want to go do it. So
Yeah.
it's tough. It's certainly a bummer if anybody gets hurt in Eurobasket and it affects the season. But you know what else sucks? Getting hurt in an NBA season and affecting a season. It's a risk that for what Eurobasket and European basketball and international basketball and sports, et cetera, represent, it's a risk that players are willing to take. And all these players that are suiting up in Eurobasket could choose not to do it. And some did. Some have. We weren't sure whether Giannis or Jokic for sure were going to play.
Mm-hmm.
And if they hadn't, we would have understood. And, Wembanyama, we understand that he, had to sit out with, as he recovers from the blood clot scare. And we understand there are circumstances where these guys are not, they're not, show ponies. This is not these are not circus tricks. These are animate human living people who have to make the best decisions for themselves. And time again, a lot of these guys make the best decision for themselves that they're going to go play for their national team. They're going to go and represent their country. And it means something to them, sometimes on a level that's even deeper or at least different than what it means to represent your actual NBA team. So I am all for it. And I am all for every player making that choice themselves. And any player that chooses not to participate, I understand that as well.
Sure.
And we've seen this in national team, soccer, where football, where, there are players who just, are not as locked in, not as dialed in, just don't want that as an aspect of their careers. And they struggle with it. And, that's something I can also understand. And, Carlos Vela and, oh my God, I'm blanking on the name. The midfielder who played for the Columbus Crew for a while. He's a U.S. men's national team midfielder who played a little bit of national team and then ultimately just decided he didn't have time for it. And his career was better off if that wasn't. Oh my God, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. But yeah, I understand those situations, but should be up to the players, and the players, time and time again, they choose to play because it means something to them. It matters, and I am pro player when it comes to stuff like this. If the players care, then I care.
You think Cooper Flagg's going to be on the 2026 U.S. men's national team for the Olympics?
I have not thought even a second about it. Where are they playing it?
Los Angeles.
Oh, it is in. I knew LA was getting one. For some reason, I was thinking 28. You're right. It is next year.
Oh no, or is it 28?
I think it is 28.
It's 28. It's 28.
Yep,
I'm sorry. It's 28.
Yeah. Because
we just had the
last
Olympics.
summer was
Yes.
Yeah. 28 maybe. 26. No, he would not have been there.
No, he would not. But 2028, Los Angeles. Yes.
Winter. Even though basketball is played in winter, it is a Summer Olympic sport. So, no, it makes sense. I mean, that's when you can play it
For sure. All right. Well, let's take our next break here, our final break here on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
Hoping to get Stein back. Tanner is working on it.
He is literally working on it as we go to break here. Hopefully, we get our guy Marc Stein back to finish up our show today here on the DLLS Mavs podcast.
No, it's me. There we are. Thank you, Tanner. He's dealing with stuff. It's okay. It's okay. Everybody's fine. Everything's fine if you're a diehard, which you can sign up for. $36 intro offer for NFL training camp. But I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
Oh.
Something that you might not know. Yes, this offer has been constructed and crafted for NFL training camp. But you can use it for any sport you want.
Oh, that's good.
You don't have to be a DLLS Cowboys watcher. You could just be trying to read the 19 biggest Mavericks questions headed into the 2025-26 NBA season.
Let's go.
You could be trying to read in the weeks ahead stories that I'm writing about all of these questions, or most of them, a lot of them, trying my best to answer. Maybe not telling you Anthony Davis is fine, and, like if Marc Stein doesn't know it, if he doesn't have a good sense of that, I don't have a good sense of that. Like anything, if he's not getting it, then very often I am not. But what I can tell you is that I've been starting to talk to people about what is a retina detachment,
right?
What is that? Yeah, probably should figure out the injury before I. I was just blanking on it. Starting to figure out. Okay, so what are the ramifications of this? How does it? How do you recover from it? And so far, it doesn't sound like the most fun things. There's like a little bit of confusion about what's all going on there. So trying to get to the bottom of that, trying to get to the bottom of a lot more questions. Which Mavericks will defend star guards? Which Maverick will most often be the roaming helper? Will Cooper Flagg have preferred scoring spots? All of that I'm diving into, trying to figure out answers. You can sign up, $36 intro offer. Just go to alldlls.com/diehard.
Let's finish up here on the DLLS Mavs show today as we welcome back in our national NBA insider, Marc Stein.
Marc!
He is here.
You were being
sorry
silenced.
about that, kids.
No, it's all right. We won't let Adam Silver get you this time. So, speaking of, obviously, the NBA, 5 years ago, we entered into one of the most unique set of circumstances, not just in NBA history, really in sports history, with the creation of what was the bubble in the NBA bubble at the time. The Lakers, of course, went on to win the NBA championship that year. But 5 years since that period, what do you remember about that time as we look back at the NBA bubble 5 years ago?
Yeah, 5 years this week. I want to make sure my stuff is connected here. 5 years this week. First game played in the bubble. And it's funny because I recently did a podcast with the Hall of Fame photographer, Andy Bernstein. He was also a bubble resident. We actually taped it in late June because things were so chaotic, and just did a whole bunch of bubble memories. And the posts are starting to pop up now, and it's all starting to come back. Like I saw the Pacers today threw up a tweet about how 5 years ago today, TJ Warren scored 50 whatever in the bubble, 51, 53. Don't remember the exact number, but look, I said it then, and I will always say it. To me, it was an unmissable thing. I feel really, really fortunate that I was on that short list of journalists invited to go. 7 days of quarantine and a 314 square foot little room at Disney World. GM Ben, he would relocate our whole network to Disney World if it was up to him. He loves it that much. 53 days in there for me. I have not been back, and I don't know that I will ever go back. I'm not in a real rush to do that, to go back. But like I said, to have done it, it's kind of like an old joke among writers. I don't remember who said this. It's a famous quote. I should know who said it because it's a famous quote. Basically to the effect that writing is really hard, but I love having written. You love when your writing is complete. I really love that I attended. In the moment, it had a lot of challenges, and I was only there 53 days. Guys like Chris Haynes, Mark Spears, they were there the whole time. Chris Haynes was there for like 100-something days. So I have nothing. I can't even register a quibble with my paltry 53, 54 days. But it was a once in a lifetime thing. It's hard to imagine the NBA ever having those circumstances again, where it literally has to create its own planet in a way. But a lot of memories are definitely coming back, because that was it was a crazy time in all our lives. The NBA was an escape for a lot of us, and so many things, like just to be walking, walking to the mail room or the food room, and Michael Malone just goes whizzing by on a bike. Just crazy stuff like that would never, you can't even imagine it happening. And like I said, really glad I had the chance to do it.
Did you get the invite to the Slav Boys hangout?
No, that happened. I'm trying to think, did that happen after I was gone? They had it in an area that the media was not allowed to go.
What?
I'm trying.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, look, there was the way it was set up, there was really only one hallway connected to the main hotel that the media could freely go, and players would pass us. And it was only players staying. Like the Mavs stayed at the second hotel, which I can't remember what it's called now. Yacht Club was like the 10 teams with the worst records, and that's the one that emptied the quickest. The Mavs were in another hotel that was completely off limits. Like the Mavs were playing pickleball every day, but like we couldn't get anywhere close to the hotel they were in. The main hotel that had the teams with roughly the 10 best records, I want to say that was the Grand Floridian. There was a hallway that we could go and players would pass. And Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated and I, we laughed at each other because we would both just stalk that hallway way more than we were supposed to. Like you weren't supposed to just linger. But Mannix and I would camp out there every chance we could, just to see who we would run into. It was crazy. I mean, it's 5 years ago, and it feels like 500.
Yeah, Daryl Morey had some interesting things to say the other day about the Lakers winning that championship. From your time and your recollection, how does the league view that Lakers championship given the circumstances and how it fits in NBA history, given what they went through there?
A lot of people do apply an asterisk and say it's not the same. And the reason that is said is because there was no travel, no fans, and all the games were played in the same place. And, when you're not flying, when you take the travel element out of the playoffs, that's obviously a far different scenario than any normal season. Now, the counter argument is all 22 teams in the bubble had to deal with those conditions, and there were a lot of rules and restrictions, and there was a mental tax by, being in the bubble and having to adhere to all these regulations. And the Lakers handled that the best and won. Now, I know at some point in the last 5 years, LeBron tried to make the case that it's the greatest championship he's ever won, the toughest championship he's ever won. I'm certainly not
2016 exists.
2016 does exist.
I'm certainly not co-signing that. But like I think it's a debate that will always be there. Some are gonna, and look, I mean, I have to admit, during these playoffs, I did multiple interviews where I said I would talk about people would ask about the Thunder, and it was routinely said, not just by me, the Thunder have no one with championship experience except Alex Caruso, who was part of the Lakers bubble team. But you always throw in the bubble. Sorry, guys. The bubble always gets mentioned. So, like, I guess subconsciously, I haven't let it go either. But it's a hard call. You know, everybody sees it the way they see it. And it's one of those things that I don't know that we'll ever get a definitive answer on.
I do think it's one of the most difficult rings that has ever been won, because you mentioned the conditions in which the players were dealing with. You say, Kevin, relax. The guys were in, rooms. They were in Disney. They were able to kind of roam around and do what they needed to do, free of all the other distractions. But
shouldn't that make it easier?
I mean,
yeah,
you would think.
Look, I mean, I can just tell you my own experience. Like I said, I was there for 53 days. On date, because I was working for the New York Times at the time, and the Times was like, it's too, we're going to split it up. Scott Cassiola, my longtime former Times colleague, he's going to come in and take your place. So I was there till early September. My last day there was really momentous, if I can toot my own horn just a touch. The last thing I did in the bubble was report that the Brooklyn Nets had hired a new coach named Steve Nash. And then
oh, wow.
The league, that was my last morning there. The league arranged, a ride to take me to the airport. So I had a very nice ride to the airport, flew back Orlando to Dallas, and I was so happy to have the ability now to do whatever I wanted without anyone, I could go where I want. I literally got off the plane at DFW and I went to Papacito's in the A terminal and I ordered some nachos and scarfed them down before going to baggage claim to pick up my bags, just because it was the first time in almost 2 full months that I could just go to a restaurant and nobody could stop me. Like, it's a ridiculous story. It's a selfish story, but that's the truth. Like, I was like, I'm getting off this plane. I'm going to go to Papacito's and the league can't stop me. And I had a quick 20-minute meal and made it to baggage claim in time. And my bags were right there. Got my bags and went home.
The idea of crushing a thing of nachos before getting your bags is kind of insane.
It is insane. It is selfish. It's also textbook me. But like, it's like I said, I was so in the bubble. Like, again, they were very nice conditions. It's not like they weren't luxurious for the media. They were very nice for the media. They were luxurious for the players. All these teams brought in their own chefs. They had real food. They're staying in nice hotels. Like, it wasn't, I don't want to make it sound like we were at the, the Motel 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
But just we didn't have freedoms. You couldn't, like, the media was restricted to a 1 square mile. The grounds we were restricted to was 1 square mile at Coronado Springs.
Unbelievable times to look back on. We really appreciate you hanging out with us through the whole week. Can't even talk. It's Friday. Got to go. But we appreciate you hanging out with us all week long here. We will talk to you at some point next week.
Monday and Tuesday, I will be in studio.
Whoa. Well, there we go.
Let's go.
We'll see you in studio next week then. Have a great rest of your weekend.
All right, guys. Be good.
Bye, Mark.
That is our national NBA insider, Marc Stein. Tanner, let me ask you a question real quick.
What's up?
On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate today's show for us?
Tanner.
I mean, people love when we go off the rails. So that made for some entertaining content, I would say.
Okay. He didn't give an answer. You see what he did there?
Yeah, that was very diplomatic.
Exactly.
How many Letterboxd stars would you give the show?
Oh.
If you could log this, are you going to log this on Letterboxd? And
yeah.
What is your review going to say?
3.5 stars, I guess.
Wait, Tanner,
wow.
have you seen Eddington?
No,
I saw Eddington last night.
Recommend?
I liked it,
Okay.
but
All
it's Ari Aster, so like,
yeah.
honestly, it's like sneakily, it's his most normal movie. Just saying something,
I do like this movie.
which does not mean it's normal. It means that by Ari Aster standards,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a big Midsommar
Yes,
guy.
yes, that
And
one. Very entertaining.
Hereditary, I'm not really a it's not like
It's
that's
so
not even
good.
like that was a good movie though. Like objectively that one was good. So yeah.
So
Joaquin Phoenix, most underrated actor. Underrated, not best, but I think he does not get the love he should.
Got a lot of love from Joker, but I see what you're saying.
More movie talk next week. Let's do
That's
it.
right. Good point. Appreciate our guy Tanner making us look good and sound good and saving us all day here on the show. Really appreciate him. We'll be back next week here on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Our guy Marc Stein will be in studio with us next Monday and Tuesday. That's our Mavericks beat writer Tom
Cato.
I'm your host, Kevin Gray with an A. We'll talk to you next week on the DLLS Mavs podcast. Yeah, have a good rest of the weekend. We'll talk to you later. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.